Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to the February 9th, 2015 edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, anything and everything wrestling. We cover it. And what better way to start than to jump right into the news as of yesterday. That's why the show was delayed, and I felt bad for the fans, so I woke up around 4:30 this morning Eastern time, 3:30 this morning Eastern time, and wanted to get this on the air on YouTube to our fans as soon as possible. Let's get the plugs out of the way so we can go right into the news. You can email the show and Continental Wrestling Entertainment. That's Wrestle Talk Show and our promotion, Continental Wrestling Entertainment, at the same email address, JOSHAR Zimmerman, ZINNERMAN @gmail.com. We advise that you put in the subject header what it's about. If it's a resume, please type in resume for consideration for wrestler. If it's a show, question, comment, concern, please specify in the subject header so that we can filter them into the appropriate folders. That way the next show, we go right to the Wrestle Talk Show folder and we know exactly what to bring up, what fan questions to address first. You can follow us on Twitter at CWE Company, Facebook, 2 pages on Facebook, my personal and corporate page for CWE, which is facebook.com/CWE Company, and the Wrestle Talk Show page that features up-to-the-minute wrestling news, even when we don't hold the show. That is facebook.com/WrestleTalkShow. For our business associates, follow us at linkedin.com using keywords Joshua Zimmerman or Continental Wrestling Entertainment. You're bound to find me. And that's about it. We'll get into more plugs as it progresses, but I think without further ado, on today's show, we're going, the rant's going to be, and you'll look forward to this, the rant's going to be the concussion controversy, the independent contractor labeling that Vince McMahon still uses to this day as a tax dodge. Not that he's proven just by keeping them as independent contractors that World Wrestling Entertainment does not care about its talent. Cares about them now, but if they get hurt, Vince McMahon's always had the mentality of they can be replaced, and if recent years has proven, as they have proven, you can't replace them. When, like I said, when Daniel Bryan and John Cena were out with consecutive injuries last year, there was nobody to step up to the plate because WWE doesn't bother using NXT or any of its OVW or any other of its developmental programs. You're either hot or you're not, or you meet McMahon's big guy stereotype wrestler and you're in. But he essentially is wasting money because NXT, Tough Enough, all of those do not develop wrestlers into up-and-coming superstars. It's a proven fact. The statistics show that not even maybe a quarter of all the people that participate in NXT and over the years, Tough Enough and all those other developmental programs actually make it. It's just so Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H can save face. And like I said before, with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H as the future operators of this company, World Wrestling Entertainment can only go downhill from here. And I hope at the next shareholder meeting, when it's actually not whatever shareholder meeting that might be, that it's finalized that these two are not, just because they're in a wrestling family, they do not deserve to run this company. They do not care about their fans. They do not care about, even though the fans are the reason WWE exists. We spend our hard-earned money to go and see these live events. By the way, live events decline yet again. Repeat it week after week after week. The WWE Network decided to, after the horrible Royal Rumble, which again should have been your lead-in to the road to WrestleMania and what's usually a phenomenal pay-per-view, ended with the hashtag cancel WWE Network, and I hope you all did. They felt the need to gloat of 1 million subscribers, although they'll never be able to gloat true figures because subscribers come and go, subscriptions end every day depending on when people signed up, so their numbers will always be flawed. So this bragging about peaking at 1 million subscribers was just a way to snub it at us, the fans, again, that they're right, which they're not, and we're wrong. Moving on to that, like I said, the rant will be about that. Concussions, WWE's joke of a wellness policy. The reason CM Punk left, part of the reason, is because the wellness policy is a joke. It was revised to where wrestlers can work off. It's a 3-strike process if you fail the wellness policy, but there's a certain clause in it now that you can work off one of those strikes. So what's the point? The wellness policy becomes irrelevant if you stay clean long enough. You can wipe off one of your strikes and then go right back to doing it. So thanks a lot, Vince McMahon, for making a joke of people's safety, not caring enough to insure your wrestlers, even though your balance sheets report carryover earnings in the billions. Why you are not insuring these wrestlers is beyond me. It's corporate irresponsibility. It's personal irresponsibility, and it includes, again, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Shane McMahon. Anyone who carries the McMahon name has worked for this company or is working for this company, and it needs to stop. Your talent is the reason you thrive, and yet you give 2 shits about them. But we'll save that for the rant. Moving into your wrestling news, like we said, we're trying for a shorter format. So we'll do shows like once or twice a week as to keep your attention and not to bore you. Hold on a minute, I have a bit of a cold, folks, excuse me. Another blow to TNA. Former TNA Knockout wins NWA Top Women's Title Gold. Santina Garrett, who has performed for TNA as Brittany, won NWA's Top Women title from incumbent champ Barbie Hayden last night. She commented on her victory via Twitter. And that comment is posted in full detail on the Wrestle Talk Show Facebook page and the Twitter page at CWE Company. We remind you to follow, share, retweet, comment, email, refer a friend, anything and everything. You guys make this possible. You guys make this fun. Hence why I wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go over my run sheet and my notes. My days start early enough as it is, but I owed it to you guys to do this. All right. Bill Goldberg back in the news. Bill Goldberg set to kickbox for glory. Randy Orton returned photos, and the Bella Twins at Comic-Con. The Bella Twins will be appearing at the Wizard World Indianapolis Comic-Con this Saturday at the Indianapolis Convention Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Say that 3 times fast. The Bellas will begin signing autographs and posing for photos starting at 1 p.m. Why you would want to waste your film on Fearless Nikki's boob job, that is just because she has no self-esteem or no wrestling ability whatsoever. She's a glorified whore. We want wrestlers. We don't want the TNA era is gone because the show is gone PG. She dresses like a whore. She is not a role model to the female wrestling fans out there. She is not a role model to your daughter. She has no talent except those implants that John Cena paid for. Whether he knows it or not, he paid for them. Her success is just because of her looks, not because of her hard work, and I can attest to that, as multiple sources within the WWE have confirmed this. She is strictly there for eye candy, and the title was just to shut her up. Because she, whatever medication or whatever her and John smoke after I shouldn't say John. John's as solid as they come as a down-to-earth guy. But Fearless Nikki, this Nikki army, there is no army. It's just you, Nikki, and your alter egos. Go back to being you, and maybe you'll be respected more. But for right now, you're just a joke, pretending to be a wrestler when there's actually a true women's division that, if revamped right, could actually rival that of the Attitude Era. Could be a good women's division taken seriously. But it's not, because of people like Nikki, whose boobs show off more than her moves do. But that's what she wanted. She could care less about the wrestling. Continuing. It will begin signing autographs and posing for photos at 1 p.m. and participating in a Q&A session at 3:30. You can get more details at WrestlingInc.com. We would appreciate photos from the appearance as well as reports from the panel. So if you are attending it, please let us know by emailing JOSHARZIMMERMAN@gmail.com. That's Joshua R. Zimmerman @gmail.com. The Glory Kickboxing has been communing with Goldberg over Twitter about Goldberg possibly fighting for them. And let me stop right there. I don't know if you guys remember a few months back, and I posted this last night, that even though he hasn't wrestled, even though he's a wrestling hack because he thought he was better than everyone else, instead of being humble for what he had, is still, ironically, within the top 7 out of 25 highest paid wrestlers, even though he has no talent. He's another one that has no talent, but feels that he's larger than life. Moving along, we'll see if Bill Goldberg decides to go into kickboxing. I thought he wanted one more match in WWE, but sources say that Vince McMahon isn't too keen on the idea of Goldberg coming back after what he did the last time they tried to bring him back. Former WWE Diva Women
Make sure I'm up by 7:30.
7:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta go to work.
Again?
I gotta go to Dunkin' Donuts and work today, so you got her.
Okay.
So you don't be messed up, alright?
No, I took my noodles. Work for what? Oh, well. Former WWE Diva Women's Champion and in a career highlight defeated then employed with WWE Jeff Jarrett to become the first woman Intercontinental Champion at a peak time when titles mattered in the company. When titles mattered in the company, I think this is the China story. She's unhappy with her marriage a week after announcing it. Go figure. With 90% of her body being fake, who can blame her and everything she's done to take her career downhill? I mean, her stint in TNA wasn't even wrestling related. It was that mystery cam bullshit. But since the at a peak time when titles matter to the company, since the titles on all levels change weekly almost now, it's hard to find even remote interest on who holds heavyweight titles. Their breadwinner matches when the wrestling giant WWE doesn't care themselves. In the same breath, they include them in weekly shows and always regarding pay-per-views for increased fan attendance and buy rates per pay-per-view. As fans remember, China, an original member of the beloved D-Generation X, and Triple H's real-life ex-wife, who after winning the Intercontinental title, the next pay-per-view, management informed her she would be asked to drop the title. Refusing to do so, she is the primary reason, among other things, the porno video, the sex tape with X-Pac, among other personal indiscretions. WWE was forced to terminate her contract, and she took company property across state lines, as those titles range anywhere from $500 to $2,500, because what you buy are the replicas. They have to return them every night because they are real. Refusing. Once taking the title across state lines, it voided her contract anyway by default, and WWE and the court, granted by the courts, issued a warrant for her arrest and to reobtain the title, which has an estimated value of between $2,500 and $5,000. The reason the wrestlers have to return the valuable titles after each event they have to return the real titles after each event and are awarded replicas upon each title win that they usually, if you've ever seen Chris Jericho's DVD, they award you one in a frame to signify each time you've won a title, because there is real value to the titles that you see Cena come out with, Daniel Bryan come out with. All of those titles hold a cash value where the replica's $100, $150. Something happens to it. In a pinch, they have been known to use replicas, but for the most part, McMahon buys one of each in the standard gold themed, gold trim, Divas titled silver trim. Even though silver is at an all-time high, people have lost interest in precious metals. And China then took another turn for the worst and released a sex tape with Sean Waltman, better known as original D-Generation X member X-Pac. Then outright straight to porn movies. And after doing my research, if anybody wants to see how horrible and fake it was, and this is just a Google review, you don't even have to see photos, that it's such a low budget. It's called China's Back Door. Now, you can draw your own conclusions from that. But this is how much they invested in it. It's a 45-minute to an hour movie where 45 minutes of it are spent on her co-actor, because truthfully, she's better looking than China was. China was only brought in for the name recognition at the time that I don't think the male entertainment industry realized was going down the drain faster than it could be put down the drain. And after the porn, as of last year, she had a short run in TNA, which didn't last. Long, as the struggling TNA, who still is, only took her on as she once was a high level diva talent in the TNA rival World Wrestling Entertainment. It just broke on the news wire that the former talent is not happy with her marriage that she made public over a week ago. Video is available on our Twitter feed, CWE Company, and our Facebook.com/WrestleTalkShow page, along with all these stories. Even, like I said, even when we don't do a direct show, we do bring you almost to-the-minute news every day. We check the news wire and give you everything current. It was a busy news day, and I apologize to my editor-in-chief, Richard, and my executive vice president of production, Nathan Lerner, who I will be sharing this with him as soon as I publish it, and we'll go over what could be done, and we might even have some side content for you, because I asked Mr. Lerner to get his material together. But I think we'll use his material just to showcase him and promote him better as like extra content for the show, like a segment just for him. But it won't be a show. It'll be a 15 to 30 minute bonus content. Again, we're trying a new format, less time, more direct. We're gonna reiterate right here because one runs into the other. You're asked to submit your thoughts to WWE Cares, and then they give you the worst pay-per-view of the new year. I don't care if it was 99 cents. It was a waste of money. By now, it can be seen for free on YouTube. And WWE should be ashamed of itself. It should refund. Personally, it should refund anyone who bought it, WWE Network or regular pay-per-view, their money back. Because they botched an entire pay-per-view. And then tried to play it off that, cancel, hashtag cancel WWE Network. We must be doing something right. We have 1 million subscribers. No. That number, like we debated when the first set of numbers came out, it'll always fluctuate because different people signed up at different times. Their commitment to the network will expire almost to the point of every day someone will either re-sign or choose. A group of people will either re-sign or to the network or not sign. So these numbers of 1 million subscribers was premature to release because it will not stay that way. It will not. It might grow, but like the stock market, it will rise and fall because WWE does not care about its fans, does not care, especially when my main argument is those fans pay for WWE to exist and were blatantly ignored by Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon, and everyone else on an executive level that runs that company. They don't care. Like I said a couple videos ago about the safety net. They've done it for so long, they know you're going to spend the money. So by the time you realize you've witnessed a horrible pay-per-view, they've already got your money. They're not stupid. More people need to interact with WWE, and I can provide the links and the corporate number to WWE headquarters on our Facebook page, and you need to let those three know in particular, especially. I'll start with creative. When you have Triple H bringing in guys just to bury them, like I said, it makes NXT and Tough Enough irrelevant because you essentially don't care about it because you don't use it. And if he's not a John Cena, Brock Lesnar, or some big guy, Vince McMahon doesn't want it. Even though you could have there's a lot. Take the buyout, for example. All of those wrestlers had talents, or else Vince McMahon wouldn't have felt threatened enough to buy ECW and WCW in one fell swoop. But then within a year, to cut all that talent out just to end up with your own talent anyway.
Yo, Josh.
Yo.
I can hear you all the way in my room, man.
Okay. Just to showcase your own talent again, what was the point of the buyout? Like I've argued before. You could have kept the buyout, kept the management in place, even, as we all know, Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo. Vince Russo most recently in the scandal of being hired off the books to TNA. You could have kept that going, and Vince McMahon would quietly be the owner. This way, it would look like WWE was not a monopoly, but that it was still competing with the likes of ECW and WCW. But it wasn't a battle for you, the fans. It was a battle that Vince McMahon had against Ted Turner that he wanted to win, no matter what the fans thought. And in the end, it costed hundreds of great wrestlers jobs. They've had to settle for TNA lowball contracts, except if you're Kurt Angle, who says it kind of works out because it's filmed in one location. There's no 255-day-a-year travel schedule, and he can go home every night. I can appreciate that. But when you have to resort to Raw versus SmackDown as a video game, you're competing against yourselves. It's pointless. And in the video, as I preluded to, in China's video, she actually talks about dating Triple H, even though it was more than dating. She's now posted saying she posted that she was getting married to a man in Japan. Now she's posted a new video saying she's considering 3 different marriage proposals. China also talks about dating Triple H and more, which is a lie. Triple H is China's ex-wife. And he said on a radio show a couple years back that he doesn't know what happened to her. When he met her, she was selling pagers and had a love for the business, and then thought that she could pull the same demands that the guys could, that the high-level superstars could. And they said no. WWE's website has in other news, WWE's website has a new poll asking fans who is more deserving of a world heavyweight title shot at WrestleMania 31. With over 29,000 votes, Daniel Bryan is leading with 88%. David Otunga and his fiancée Jennifer Hudson attended Clive Davis's pre-Grammy party Saturday night. Photos are available at WrestleTalk at our Twitter page and Facebook.com/WrestleTalkShow, and anything else like full videos and all that. Visit our friends at WrestlingInc.com. Otunga's fiance is nominated for Best R&B Performance at last night's award. Whether or not she won, you'll find out in the next show. News on Randy Orton and Bo Dallas's live TV returns. WWE star featured on NYC Billboard. A correspondent at last night's WWE live event in Salt Lake City, Utah, noted that Randy Orton showed no signs of rust for his return match against Kane. Orton received one of the bigger pops of the night and defeated Kane with an RKO. On a related note, Bo Dallas received mostly boos for his return match against Sin Cara at last night's show. A correspondent noted that Bo looked good in the ring, but the best part was his pre-match promo. Where he asked everyone for a moment of silence. he did say that he'd been away for 102 days with a big toe injury. Dallas ended up losing the car. Titus O'Neil is currently featured on a New York City billboard for the Ad Council's fatherhood campaign that came out last year. Photos are available again on our pages or WrestlingInc.com. He posted this on Instagram. I'd like to take the time to send the Ad Council and WWE a very heartfelt thank you for putting this billboard up in Times Square, New York City, of me and my two sons, Thaddeus and Titus, as a chosen ambassador of hashtag fatherhood campaign. I can't even begin to put into words my gratitude and gratefulness to all involved in helping make all this possible, from the man that grew up fatherless to now helping in bringing about social awareness and encouraging importance of fatherhood with my children is truly an honor to all of us. The stereotypes and attitudes towards fathers, especially minority fathers and fatherhood in some instances, is very discouraging. But the images of love, the process of time, and the educational tools and resources that are now available through this campaign is and should be to any and every father out there. And to be a responsible, loving, and active father is a non-discriminatory honor that I pray this campaign allows more people to be encouraged, that our men of today and in the future are on their way to becoming the greatest examples of fathers this world can ever ask for. Hashtag do work, hashtag die empty, hashtag all lives matter. Great news for WWE wrestler Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's podcast, DDP and Friends, sit down with Larry King. And more news on David Otunga and his fiancée. Scott Hall, Diamond Dallas Page, and Jake Roberts appear on Larry King Now to talk about their new documentary, quote, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, that just premiered last week during Sundance. Video of this sit-down interview is available via our friends at WrestlingInc.com and the PW Torch, hosted by Wade Keller and James Conwell, and a daily special guest every show. Find them Monday through Friday on blogtalkradio.com or pwtorch.com. Their show runs an hour Monday through Friday. On Mondays, it's the hour leading into Raw. Tuesdays through Friday, it's 5 to 6 p.m., I believe, still. Please check pwtorch.com in case they, with the new year, needed to change some of their formats, as most have. They provide great coverage, breaking news almost in a minute like we do, and great insight. Chris Jericho noted on Twitter that his Talk is Jericho podcast has had over 53 million downloads since December 4th, 2013. And the David Otunga news was just about how they were going to the party. David Otunga would be nothing without Kate Hudson. I'm sorry, he's not a wrestler. He's a lawyer. The Bella Twins talk how John Cena and Daniel Bryan have helped them become better wrestlers and people. I doubt that with Fearless Nikki, considering what I just said. She's only concerned about what's below her chin. She has no ability. And with WWE being PG, that's as risque as she can be, or else I think she'd be on the stripper pole where she deserves to be, because she's a disgrace to the Divas division. There's plenty of talent like Natalya and others that deserve Divas spots more than she does. Brie Bella I have no problem with. Nikki Bella needs to go. And fast. Before Nikki actually does become a role model, and then WWE finds itself in, oh, we're a PG show, when you have her wearing outfits that don't show her outfits, but show more of what's under her outfit. It's clear that she's only there for one purpose, and it's not to aid the Divas division in any way, shape, or form. For that honor, I take Natalya with a true wrestling background. Wrestling with John Cena in the bedroom does not count. And I'm calling you out on that, Nikki. I'm on Twitter at CWE Company. I'm on Facebook.com/CWE Company. Come at me, because it's the truth, and the truth hurts. You have no talent except latching on to the stardom of your boyfriend, John Cena. And if he marries you, it will be the same mistake he made the last time, and the reason he was scared to get married again. You're not worth it. And you're a gold digger. It's proven on Total Divas. You're a gold digger. And moving on to that. Alright, let me just start over real quick, because there's just something, not start over, but just a headline of that next story. The Bella Twins talk how John Cena and Daniel Bryan have helped them become better wrestlers and people, their recent feud and more. We note to our listeners, our viewers, that this is a 3-page interview. Below is the first page of said interview. To read the entire story, visit WrestlingInc.com, as we didn't want to read the entire interview to prevent our fans from losing interest, and since it's available on so many other outlets. So here we go. And it's about a 3 to 6 page interview. The source of this interview is the IBTimes.com. The Bella Twins spoke with the International Business Times during Super Bowl 49 weekend in Phoenix. Below are some of the highlights. Question: how would you compare your careers in the WWE now to before the start of Total Divas? Nikki Bella: our careers are the best they've ever been. Of course, Nikki would say that. What is it with this woman? She has no talent. I'm really enjoying the title reign I have right now. I hope it continues for a very long time, and I hope I can do things in the Divas division that will always be remembered. No, you won't, because you can't wrestle. There are other divas there that will define the Divas division before you will. You'll be asked to do Playboy before you'll be asked to hold that title long term. Sorry about that. Just the way it is. Total Divas has given all the divas a different platform to let the world know who we really are. It's like Nikki Bella, you're as fake as they come. And reality TV scripted, so stop saying it's a real life look. And all the hard work we put in. Yeah, all the hard work except Nikki Bella that the divas put in. Nikki hasn't worked a day in her life. She just gets things augmented and worked on. She's a pinup girl. Straight up. Not a wrestler. Vince McMahon could save himself a lot of money in contract money just by cutting dead weight like Nikki Bella. Just Nikki Bella. And I'd be happy. Invest the time in Natalia and divas that actually want it. Because all Nikki wants to do is wear backwards hats to be cool, shirt tops that don't fit her, but showcase things that, for someone who wants to be a role model, does a very piss poor job at it. Who we really are and all the hard work we put in, not only into being a diva, but how we actually put hard work into our personal lives because we travel so much. And it's just nice to take the WWE divas more mainstream. I definitely have to say I'm grateful for my career right now. John has also helped me take it to the next level. He has shown me the strength that I had inside me and I never knew. Of course he's going to. You're sleeping with him. But you'll never amount to anything in the Divas division. So just enjoy that fake Divas title. Considering titles don't matter to WWE. I don't know why you're so happy that you're a title holder. It means nothing. WWE made sure of that. They don't care about their titles. And they certainly don't care about you. Except for your sex appeal. I apologize. When I got into weightlifting, I was always the girl thinking weightlifting is going to make me big and fat. That's how retarded she is. She thinks that weightlifting is going to make her big and fat. It tones muscle and removes fat. Go back to school first, then worry about being a wrestler. Hashtag fearless Nikki stupidity. Because she's fearless on opening her mouth, even when she's wrong. Or, more importantly, when she should just keep her mouth shut. I thought it would make me big and fat. It gave me the strength that I had never seen, and I took that to the ring. John has really helped me not only with my psychology in the ring and telling better stories, but just showing off my strength and the strength that I've always had inside me and never showcased. Brie Bella. In the last 2 years, Nikki and I have definitely seen our careers really step up. Hello? You two are married. You two are married to the two biggest draws in professional wrestling. It's like AJ Lee getting a push when CM Punk was around. It's a given. You didn't earn it. Don't think you did. You're both either dating or married to top draws, Daniel Bryan and John Cena. So stop acting like your career stepped up over something you did, because you had nothing to do with it. Vince McMahon seen it as a way to placate to his biggest draws and keep you happy at the same time, and not scream discrimination or unfairness that I'm sure would be the first words out of Nikki Bella, because all she does is cry. Cry, piss, and moan. Give me a minute to log back into this one. The hell? Thank you. Alright. Nikki Bella, in the last 2 years, Nikki and I have definitely seen our careers really step up compared to in the past. I do give a lot of credit to Total Divas. Please don't. Total Divas is a joke. Like I said, you got your pushes because you're involved with two of WWE's best wrestlers. If that goes away, hopefully, so do you. Brie can wrestle. I'm fine with Brie. But the sooner Nikki goes, the better the women's division will be, because Nikki isn't who I'd want my kids to. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't want her to look up to Nikki Bella, because she's trashy. Has no talent, wrestling or otherwise, except for wearing, again, backwards hat and tight-fitting clothes, where the first thing you see is not her physique, but the implants she just bought. And that's the point. Nikki the slut is what her gimmick should be. And the story can be she slept with the entire locker room. It was fine when Val Venus did it. But of course, again, about WWE not caring about its own, WWE has forgotten all about Val Venus. Even though those were the best days in wrestling, and these two think they are the best in female wrestling, is a complete and utter joke to the true, independent, and professional female wrestlers that work day in and day out, don't get time off, work just because they enjoy the business. You guys don't have any of that. So Nikki Bella, you'll never have my support. Brie Bella, keep up the good work. Nikki Bella, I dare you to come at me. I'm encouraging it, because you're a glorified pinup girl. You're not a wrestler. Stop pretending to be something you're not, and then maybe you can create a character that's actually yours. Compared to in the past, and I do give a lot of credit to Total Divas. I think the thing with Total Divas is that everyone truly got to see how different we were. It's scripted. There was no got to see anything. It was whatever the writers wanted out there. Stop acting like Total Divas is a real show, because it's reality, and reality, as long as it's scripted, will only showcase, as part of good business, what makes the show itself, not necessarily the talent, look good. Doesn't do any favors for Nikki. Hashtag I hate Nikki Bella. She used to be real, and then she felt the need to change herself. What's that say to women? Oh, be yourself. But then 2 weeks later, get implants. Moving along, because this story's almost making me sick. Let me see how fast I can rap. Okay, it's almost over. Thank God. Truly got to see how different we were, which helped showcase singles careers in the WWE, which is something we always wanted. 2014 was a really big year for me because this is Brie Bella still talking, by the way. Big year for me because I was able to get into a storyline with Stephanie McMahon, and the WWE Divas Championship wasn't part of that. But for me, it was the biggest story I've been a part of in my entire career. I've just had a lot of really high moments. So right now we're really enjoying our time with WWE, trying to stay on top and hoping we're going to keep killing it. Question: did your feud with each other go the way in which you wanted it? Nikki: I really enjoyed where the story started. There was nothing better than having that turning moment on Brie at SummerSlam against Stephanie McMahon. Brie and her had such a great build-up. They had such a great story, and I loved the start of our story. I feel like we didn't get a chance to end our story. Unfortunately, we didn't end it. And I wanted it to go so much longer. I wanted to go so much longer with it, and I felt like we could do so much more. I truly enjoyed my pay-per-view match against Brie. We have a bond that you just can't create. We're born with it, and we had this magic in the ring. We had great chemistry, and I wish we could have done a lot more. I was really enjoying our feud and the people, and so were the people. It was hard for some people to watch because it was like, Nikki's so mean. Well, she is. In real life, she is. She was playing herself. She's a stuck-up broad. As WWE sources confirm, she thinks she's the best thing in the Divas division, and unfortunately she's not. It was just fun, and I think why it was hard for people too is because it's real life. People get interested in moments with their sibling. I wish we went longer, and I wish we could have finished the story. I think Brie needed to do something to me because I was just so mean to her. Brie. It was a lot of fun to be Brie responding to this question. It was a lot of fun to be working with my sister, and to go from Stephanie McMahon to my own sister was great. And the nice thing is we all have a really good friendship with Stephanie. I have one with my sister, and I think you go out there and you make magic, and after we'd be done in the ring, we'd go backstage, and whether you're crying or hugging, you just let it all out and were like, quote, okay, I didn't mean that. So that's the great thing about having your sister in the story with you. Next story, new WWE NXT TakeOver match confirmed. Fan thanks Dee Diamond Dallas Page for saving her life. And wrestlers filming. Fan Kristen meets Diamond Dallas Page at a recent signing and thanks him for saving her life through the DDP yoga program. Video available on the WTS Facebook and Twitter page. Twitter at CWE Company. So fans can view wrestlers doing good. We call them out as wrestling and sports entertainment reporters and journalists, but we're far from one-sided. When wrestling does good by its fans, it should and shall be shared by this company, Wrestle Talk Show Limited Liability Company. PW Insider reports that Tommy Dreamer and Kevin Nash were filming scenes for an independent movie titled Blue Line in Connecticut last week. On a related note, Rob Van Dam was in Florida this week to film some sort of shark movie. Hideo Itami confirmed on Twitter that he will be facing Tyler Breeze at Wednesday's WWE NXT TakeOver Arrival event from Full Sail University. Matt Striker talks about being outed as a wrestler while teaching and working in WWE. Audio interview available at WrestlingInc.com. And I believe our Facebook and Twitter at CWE Company and Facebook.com/WrestleTalkShow. Conducted in an interview conducted with Matt Striker regarding a variety of topics, including how he ultimately got a spot wrestling for WWE. We are posting interesting clips and stories for our interviews to our YouTube channel, so please take a moment to subscribe to our friends at their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wrestling Inc. That's Wrestling INC. Early in his career, Striker was employed as a school teacher and moonlighted as a wrestler, sometimes using his sick days to work wrestling dates. Asked to recount how these two worlds eventually collided, Striker provided a few details. Quote, "My students were avid wrestling fans," he explained. "I went to wrestle in Japan, and one student, because of the internet, saw me and didn't say anything. He was very cool. But a couple of weeks later, I had done something with WWE, and it had showed up on television, and that secret could not have been kept." So that's how it kind of all unraveled from there. Striker said he had to consider a number of things. Had to consider a number of legal issues and potential repercussions to his professional life as he moved forward. "I was fortunate, and then the school board is really good at providing you legal representation," he noted. Quote, "So I was fortunate and had the time to know what was going down, so I got together with my close circle, which translates to my dad, and we sat down and said, what do we do here? if they're really going to pursue this, they're going to take your teaching license away. You're screwed. If I resign, I can at least keep my license, and maybe something else will come up. That was the decision we arrived at, and thankfully it worked out. I got to keep my teaching license. Stryker credited Vince McMahon with having the vision to mold his real-life story into a character for WWE. Bailey talks about her character being inspired by Randy Savage and working with Charlotte. Source: the Miami Herald. WWE NXT diva Bailey recently spoke with Jim Varsalone of the Miami Herald. The full interview is available at WrestlingInc.com. Below are some of the highlights. The Bailey character, it comes kind of natural being Bailey. Watching wrestling already made me excited when I was younger. Going to live events, I was so into it and just felt something inside me that made me feel driven to do it. So when I go out to the ring, it's a natural fire for me. I can't help but smile. Bailey is a dream chaser. She's grown up watching the product, wrestling, WWE, everything. She knows everyone from top to bottom, all the history. She's been motivated since she was 10 years old, and is finally here trying to pursue a dream, live the dream to the fullest. WWE Hall of Famer Randy Savage. I'm a huge fan on WWE Hall of Famer Randy Savage. I'm a huge Macho Man Randy Savage fan. Him being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year is so cool, and it's in my hometown of San Jose. His ring gear is actually what stood out to me when I first saw him. He was the first guy I ever saw in wrestling, so that's what hooked me to him and what got me into wrestling. I kind of based my gear on being very colorful, different shapes, and a little bit of randomness, basing it off of him. In regards to working with NXT Women's Champion Charlotte, she's amazing. Sometimes we'll do stuff training, little warm-ups, and of course she ups the ante on everything, and it turns out amazing. What she has done in her past matches, you guys have no idea. She's going to keep bringing it. You'll continue to be surprised and in awe of her. She's great. Jake the Snake Roberts calls Bray Wyatt a freak of nature. Drew Galloway talks after title defense, and more Stryker news. Drew Galloway declares the ICW Heavyweight Championship the ICW World Heavyweight Championship after defending it against Matt Hardy in New York City the day before yesterday. French wrestling podcast, Wrestlers Radio interviewed Matt Striker, which can be checked out at WrestlingInc.com. During the interview, Striker talked about his WWE career, Wrestle Kingdom 9, with Global Force Wrestling, Lucha Libre Underground, and his tours in Europe. Scott Fishman of the Miami Herald has an interview also available at WrestlingInc.com with WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, who was promoting his appearance at the Shock Pop Comic Con February 13th through the 15th at the Brown County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale. During the interview, Roberts talked about today's talent. Quote, Bray Wyatt is my man, Roberts said. He is a freak of nature. I see a lot of me in him. I wish I had an opportunity to work with the guy. Maybe I will. I'm not done yet. I would like to get a hold of Dean Ambrose. I would again. I would love to get a hold of Randy Orton. I could take Randy Orton to another level. In UFC news, UFC withholding Silva's payment, big UFC 183 buy rate, Wanderlei Silva's wrestling career. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer reports that UFC 183, headlined by Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz, did a huge pay-per-view number, landing between 600,000 and 700,000 buys. This is way above industry expectations. January was a hugely successful month for UFC, which did more pay-per-view buys in 27 days than it did from August through the end of December 2014. The company has rebounded from one of the worst pay-per-view years ever, but has battled drug and PED issues from its fighters. Speaking of Anderson Silva and the company's PED issues, the UFC has withheld apparently $6 million from him. They are awaiting Silva's possible punishment at the hands of the Nevada State Athletic Commission before delivering payment. Silva earned a disclosed $600,000 to show. $600,000 just to show up. And then they wonder why these guys do the drugs and the PEDs. $600,000 just to show up before you even do anything you're contracted to do. That's ridiculous. It should all hinge on full payment and incentives after the fight. Because think about it, even if he bombs, it's $600,000. For what? A 2-3 hour event by the uneducated Dana White, who wants to use Brock Lesnar like a revolving door, and Brock Lesnar just wants to take money from both sides of the game. Be loyal to your fans, Brock. Dana, stop pursuing him. He's the world heavyweight champion for WWE. He came back. Stop pursuing him. He disgraced his peers, the industry, and himself when he came back the first time after his introduction to WWE, when they put other more deserving wrestlers on the back burner just to have him leave so you could take him. Have some respect for prior obligations. It's not all about money. And especially you, Dana White, you're a very questionable character. And I've said it before, you're one of the many shady promoters that are still allowed to practice whatever you call this. Because it's not entertainment. At least not on your end. I've seen better from Bellator. Well, I've seen better from anything that your name's not associated with, Dana. He was given $600,000 to show an additional Silva earned a disclosed $600,000 to show and an additional delivering payment. Silva earned a disclosed $600,000 to show and an additional $200,000 to win, earning another $5.2 million in additional pay for the show, despite the WWE shooting down. Despite the WWE shooting down Chanel Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva's claims that they were working on a deal, there is plenty of hope for both for Wanderlei Silva in pro wrestling, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. Wanderlei had been in negotiations with Antonio Inoki to work an IGF show in the future. Silva would need a little training to prepare himself for the style in which he'd be working. The IGF championship, most recently held by Mirko Crocop, is a fascinating one in that there's a typo here by somebody. It's a fascinating one that in can and has been defended in worked matches as well as MMA fights. Crocop was stripped of the title after signing with the UFC. TV actor has message for WWE Sting. WWE diva calls Alicia Fox, quote, stank version of Rihanna. WWE 2K15 DLC. E! Online has a clip available at WrestlingInc.com from tonight's episode of Total Divas. In the videos, tensions between Alicia Fox and Cameron continue to escalate at one point when discussing which celebrities they resemble. Fox referred to Cameron as a bootleg Nicki Minaj. Cameron responded Cameron responded by saying that Fox looks like a stank version of Rihanna. The next WWE 2K15 DLC Hall of Pain will be released on February 17th. The DLC will feature Mark Henry and his quest to win the World Heavyweight Championship. TV actor Stephen Amell, who plays Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow on the CW series Arrow, posted a message below regarding Sting's vigilante character. Amell's character was also nicknamed the Vigilante. The message is obviously tongue-in-cheek, as Amell is a big WWE fan and stated in the past that he wants to host Raw and would be willing to wrestle. Former WCW headliner Diamond Dallas Page hospitalized due to serious throat issue. Diamond Dallas Page announced on his Facebook yesterday morning that he is in an intensive care unit of an Atlanta hospital because of issues with his throat, as he's been diagnosed with subglottic stenosis. Page may need surgery. He explained what happened in this lengthy Facebook page, available with the full interview on the WTS Facebook page and Twitter at CWE Company. And to conclude today's show is our rant of the day. All of a sudden, with the NFL paying more attention to concussions, even though Roger Goodell is a complete idiot, and why the owners chose him, as he's once quoted as saying, we're looking for facts that point out a direct correlation between this full contact sport and concussions. Talk to Eric Lindros. Hockey, full contact sport, forced to leave at his peak due to those concussions. But he did that on his own. Now you got WWE facing lawsuits, and I can't blame McDevitt because he's a lawyer, even though lawyers are scumbags, by calling it frivolous. It's not frivolous. It's like I said, these wrestlers sign multi-million-dollar contracts. I get that. But you're not the NFL. In the NFL, there's an understanding that, hell, the NFL even has insurance, the best insurance in the world, and yet football players still get paid millions. You're not going to justify to me Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Mr. McDevitt, and everyone else in the corporate and legal department of WWE that you do not have the money to insure these wrestlers. Stop hiding behind the tax break of independent contractors and leaving these injured wrestlers like Droz and all of them out to dry because they're no good to you. And your excuse being, oh, well, you were paid. We paid your hospital bills. Hope you have good luck in the future, even though you'll never walk again. Vince McMahon, stop. It's illegal what you're doing. And if you're not already being investigated, it won't be long with all the controversy over concussions that your business is scrutinized. So why not get ahead of it and insure these wrestlers? Protect their futures. They're only going to be able to wrestle for you for so long. That's why you have these developmental programs in place for the future of wrestling. But take care of those who take care of you. Without the wrestlers, you would have no fans, you would have no promotion. Get over yourselves. Hashtag I hate Vince McMahon's greed. Hashtag IRS look at Vince McMahon. And I will be encouraging the business division of the IRS to look at your records, to look at your books, as I review every conference call, as I review every shared traded, as I have since I started this show, where people sell off stocks conveniently right at time, implying insider trading, which there is proof of. You've done it. Shane's done it. Shane's definitely done it. It's documented on your corporate website. It's probably not there anymore once you realized your mistake, but stop pretending that you care and start actually caring. Eliminate the term independent contractor, replace it with employee, give them a 401k that you match, and give them health benefits. You have the money. You've stolen it from us, the fans, for years. And it was one thing when we gave you your money and you were actually giving us good product. Now you're just on autopilot because the fans have allowed you to. But there'll come a point where we'll all smarten up, where the rest of us will catch up that, hey, you're just going with the flow because you know we'll spend your money. Spend the money. You're a coward, Vince McMahon. You're a coward, Triple H. You're a coward, Stephanie McMahon. You're a coward, Mr. McDevitt. Ensure the people that protect your business and make it possible. This is a disgrace that you would call yourself a wrestling promoter and a pioneer when you don't even want to take care of those that make the money that you enjoy spending. For all of us at Wrestle Talk Show, Nathan Lerner, and all of us that help us with the show, I'm Joshua Zimmerman saying have a great day, and we'll see you throughout the day to give you the wrestling news. Have a great one, folks.